Have you ever had a dream where suddenly you find yourself standing in public with no clothes on, exposed before everyone, overwhelmed by fear, shame, and confusion? Most people dismiss these dreams as random activity of the mind, but what if there is something far deeper happening beneath the surface? What if these dreams are not meaningless at all, but carry a hidden message connected to vulnerability, spiritual exposure, and unseen forces influencing the human mind? Today, we are diving into a perspective rarely discussed, as we uncover what an ex-Satanist claims these disturbing dreams can truly signify, and why understanding them may reveal far more about your inner and spiritual condition than you ever imagined. There are moments in life when the human mind reveals truths that the conscious self tries desperately to ignore, and sometimes those truths emerge in the form of dreams that leave us disturbed long after waking. Imagine finding yourself standing before a crowd with nothing to hide behind, nowhere to run, and every eye fixed upon you. The fear feels real, the shame feels overwhelming, and the vulnerability cuts deeper than words can describe. Most people wake up and dismiss such dreams as meaningless, but experiences like these often reflect battles already taking place deep within the soul. What appears in sleep is often connected to what remains unresolved while awake. To stand naked in a dream is often far more than a random experience of the subconscious mind, because it mirrors a condition many people silently live with every single day. There are countless individuals walking through life carrying fear, insecurity, hidden pain, and private struggles they work tirelessly to conceal from the world around them. Outwardly, they appear strong, confident, and completely in control. But inwardly, they are burdened by wounds they never allowed themselves to confront. The dream becomes a reflection of what already exists beneath the surface, exposing emotions that have remained buried for far too long. Sometimes the deepest struggles are the ones nobody else can see. What must be understood is that vulnerability is not always weakness, because moments of exposure often reveal the areas of life demanding transformation and growth. The things we hide from others eventually begin shaping our decisions, controlling our confidence, and limiting the person we were meant to become. Every fear left unchallenged quietly builds walls within the mind, and every insecurity left unresolved slowly steals personal freedom. The discomfort experienced in such dreams can be a powerful reminder that true strength begins when a person stops running from internal battles. Growth begins the moment honesty replaces avoidance. Perhaps the real message hidden within these experiences is not one of fear, but one of awakening, because transformation requires confronting what has been ignored. Life changes when a person chooses courage over shame and self-awareness over denial. The hidden struggles that once created fear can become the very foundation for healing, wisdom, and inner strength when faced directly with determination. Sometimes the most uncomfortable moments reveal the greatest opportunity for change. What tries to expose you may actually be calling you toward becoming stronger than you have ever been before. The greatest victory begins when you face what you once feared. There are seasons in life when people feel an invisible weight pressing against them, yet they cannot fully explain where that heaviness comes from or why their sense of peace suddenly begins to disappear. At times, everything on the outside may appear completely normal, but internally there is exhaustion, confusion, fear, and an unshakable feeling that something is draining strength from within. Dreams often become one of the first places where these deeper struggles reveal themselves, because the mind has a way of exposing what the heart has been silently carrying for far too long. What appears during sleep can sometimes reflect conditions far deeper than ordinary daily stress. To dream of standing exposed before others can symbolize more than emotional discomfort, because it can represent a state of feeling completely defenseless against forces working quietly within your life. There are moments when people begin losing confidence, motivation, and clarity without understanding why their inner stability has weakened so dramatically. It feels as though the very foundation that once kept them steady has been shaken, leaving them uncertain, vulnerable, and mentally exhausted. In many ways, this kind of exposure represents a life condition where personal strength feels compromised and protection feels distant. The dream reflects what the inner world may already be experiencing. What makes these moments dangerous is that people often ignore the warning signs, believing they can continue moving forward while neglecting the condition of their own inner life. Yet every person has unseen battles that influence thought patterns, emotional stability, and the choices made each day. When inner strength begins to weaken, fear grows louder, doubt becomes stronger, and confusion starts controlling decisions that once came naturally. The greatest danger is not the struggle itself, but failing to recognize when something within you requires attention before the damage grows deeper. Awareness is often the first defense against silent destruction. The powerful truth is that no person is meant to remain trapped in a state of weakness, because difficult seasons often reveal where strength must be rebuilt and where deeper awareness is necessary. Every challenge that shakes confidence also presents an opportunity to develop resilience, sharpen discernment, and regain control over the parts of life that have slowly been neglected. The moments where you feel most vulnerable can become the exact moments where your greatest growth begins to take shape. Sometimes feeling exposed is not the end of your strength, but the beginning of rebuilding it stronger than ever before. Strength returns when awareness leads to action. There are times when the mind sends signals that cannot be ignored, and often those signals arrive through dreams that leave a lasting sense of discomfort long after waking. Many people experience moments during sleep that feel unsettling because they seem connected to emotions far deeper than ordinary imagination. A dream where you find yourself exposed before others can sometimes reveal more than fear or embarrassment, because it may point toward unresolved struggles quietly growing within. What seems insignificant on the surface may actually be the mind forcing attention towards something hidden. Sometimes the deepest truths reveal themselves when silence finally speaks. Human nature often drives people to bury pain rather than confront it, convincing themselves that avoiding discomfort somehow makes problems disappear over time. Yet hidden guilt, fear, regret, shame, and unresolved conflict rarely remain buried forever, because what is ignored internally eventually begins shaping the quality of everyday life. Thoughts become heavier, confidence weakens, peace begins disappearing, and the person slowly starts living under pressure they cannot fully explain. The things left unaddressed do not simply vanish, because silence allows them to grow stronger with time. What remains hidden within eventually begins influencing everything outside. These dreams can sometimes act as an internal warning system, forcing a person to recognize areas of life that have demanded attention for far longer than they were willing to admit. Every unresolved conflict creates invisible barriers that prevent growth, limit potential, and keep people trapped in cycles they desperately want to escape. The discomfort experienced during sleep may reflect the urgent need for honesty with oneself before those hidden struggles become even more destructive. True transformation rarely begins with comfort, because change often starts when people finally acknowledge what they have spent years avoiding. Awareness creates the possibility for freedom. The greatest lesson hidden in these moments is understanding that facing what has been ignored is often the first step toward becoming stronger, wiser, and more fully in control of your future. Every burden carried in silence can become lighter once confronted with courage and self-awareness. The fears that once held power lose their strength when brought into the open and addressed with determination. Life begins changing when honesty replaces avoidance and action replaces denial. Sometimes the very thing trying to wake you up is preparing you for the breakthrough you have needed all along. Freedom begins when truth is finally faced. As we have seen, the experiences that unfold within the mind during sleep are often far more meaningful than most people realize. Dreams that leave us feeling exposed, vulnerable, and unsettled can sometimes reflect hidden fears, inner weakness, and unresolved struggles quietly shaping our lives beneath the surface. What appears uncomfortable in those moments may actually be revealing truths we have ignored for far too long. Sometimes the mind forces us to confront what we continue avoiding while awake, because growth begins where honesty begins. The most important lesson is understanding that moments of vulnerability should never be viewed as defeat, but as opportunities for awakening and transformation. Every hidden fear can be confronted, every internal battle can be overcome, and every weakness can become the foundation upon which greater strength is built. The things that try to expose us often reveal exactly where change is needed most. True freedom begins when we stop running from what demands our attention and choose to face it with courage. In the end, the greatest power any person can possess is the willingness to confront the unseen battles within and rise stronger because of them. What once brought fear can become the very reason you discover your deepest strength. Sometimes the message hidden within discomfort is not meant to destroy you, but to awaken the version of yourself you were always meant to become. The moment you face what has been hidden is the moment transformation truly begins. Your greatest breakthrough always begins with what you choose to confront today.